Well, I think the real reason is Wendell Wellman was at our church in Galion, Ohio, and he talked about Olivet, and we went for a walk after the Sunday evening church.
Was he there with the quartet?
I don't remember the singing at all. All I remember is that walk with Wendell Wellman. No, I was just kidding. And he told me what a good school it was, and that I would like it, and so that's what I decided to do. And it looked like when I got there, it looked like it was at the end of nowhere. It was out in the field, nothing around it, and I thought it was a lonely place, and I wanted to go home. We were just coming back from our junior trip, and when we were coming in, we saw the smoke, and that's all I know about it. And wondered if anyone was hurt or killed, burned, and of course I guess some people lost a lot of their things, books and things like that, but no life was lost. And of course we wondered what started it, and I don't think anyone knows, do they? I think I went home for a while. I didn't want to go back because it was, it just didn't seem like I liked it that well. I'd see those buses going by. There was one main road through old Olivet, and I wish I could get on that bus and get out of there.
Well, that is I think, a rather interesting story.
I don't think you wanted to come. My
parents were doing evangelical work, and I had been playing basketball at Oklahoma Baptist University under a scholarship that paid all my tuition and room and board, and I loved to play basketball, and I know they weren't too happy about me being in a Baptist school, and my brother was at Olivet, and I'm sure they wanted me, so they invited me to travel with them in the summer of 41.
Must have been earlier than that.
1940. And they were traveling they were having revivals in Oklahoma, and Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. And so I drove the car for them and attended their revival meetings with them. And on that trip, we went by Kankakee and to look at the new campus which had been announced. And my parents encouraged me, why don't you transfer and come up here? And of course, I love to play intercollegiate basketball, and I was getting all my expenses, and I knew they didn't have money. And so I explained that to them, and I said, if I had some kind of work at Olivet that would allow me to pay for my tuition and board and room, but that's not likely to happen. So I was trying to lay the argument for going back to play basketball. Well, my dad said, why don't you go and talk to Dr. Parrott, and maybe they have something. So I went in, and much to my surprise, Dr. Parrott said, do you think you could organize and run our intramural program? And I swallowed and said, I think I could. So I got a scholarship to be what they referred to as the student athletic director. And my job was to organize and schedule all the intramural sports activities.
So say that again. They gave you a scholarship?
They gave me a scholarship for running the student intramural activities, sports activities. Oh, I liked it. Much to my surprise, I really liked the life at Olivet as it was in the new campus at Bourbonnais. The gymnasium that they had been built under the St. Viator College ownership was at that time a real gem of a building and facility. And the student body was small enough that you got to know almost everyone, not everyone, but you got to, a broad spectrum of friendships. And it was a wonderful place for a good education that could be. I've never heard the story of why St. Viator's
They say it was
failed,
a state-of-the-art facility.
It was. That swimming pool and 3 bowling lanes, 3 bowling alley lanes in there, which we never used at that time. They needed some reconditioning, but we never used the bowling alleys. I did that. But I never then and have never since regretted my decision.
I don't remember ever meeting him.
Or when did you
I
decide?
didn't make much of an impression, you can see that.
Well, he didn't come until I was about ready to graduate.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, she was a senior. I was a junior when I came to Olivet.
So he
She
probably
graduated in 41 and I graduated in 42.
he probably had some growing up to do.
Still does.
It was foundation building. Some of the chapel non-spiritual experience that I recall. We did have chapel in the basement of the administration building, and I remember, I don't know who did it, I wasn't part of this, but some of the students got the idea of getting some alarm clocks. I don't know if they've ever done that since, but set them for about 5-minute intervals and hide them somewhere in the chapel space.